Okay, this is part two of the Minnesota Department of Labor and Industry administrative order with penalty against in the matter, of Charles Edward Carter and Pamela Denise Carter. We stopped off at number 20, so this is 21, finding of fact. Finding of fact number 21. On March 6, 2024, Macklemore obtained a building permit for Charles Edward Carter's roof replacement at CJ, my mother's residence. 21. So, finding of fact number 22. The city of Newport has no record that an electrical permit was filed for the electrical work identified in Macklemore's invoice. On or about February 2024, CEC, again, Deacon Charles Edward Carter, commenced the interior remodeling of CJ's home, which included carpentry, drywall, interior finishing, electrical, and plumbing work. And although no building, electrical, or plumbing permits were obtained from the city of Newport for that work, finding of fact number 24. In the response to the department's request for information, PDC, Pamela Denise Carter, also known as Evangelist Pamela Carter, and her husband, CEC, Deacon Charles Edward Carter, identified their subcontractors for CJ, my mother's interior modeling project, to be first bullet point, CEC, Charles Edward Carter. He was a project manager, and the finding of fact is that he received $8,770.06. The second bullet point, Macklemore, for flooring, has received $2,000. Bullet point number 3 is that Aaron Boone, also known as Boone, construction and labor, received $9,000. And for those that don't know, it's my understanding that Aaron Boone also attended the St. Albans Church of God in Christ Church, which my mother attended. The bullet point is that Granite Innovations LLC countertops in the amount of $3,005. David Ibarro, also known as Ibarro, received $2,000 for drywall, tape, and mud. Last bullet point under 24 is that Mr. Air Handler received $1,000 for duct work. Finding of fact number 25. PDC and CEC, Evangelist and Deacon, response to the Department of Labor reflects that PDC, Evangelist Carter, paid Boone $7,200 in cash. Neither Boone nor Ibarro hold construction contractor registration with the department as required by Minnesota Statute Section 326B.701. Finding of fact number 26. PDC, Evangelist Carter, and CEC, Deacon Carter, response also included receipts for materials, which shows that the funds that my mother, CJ, provided were used to purchase personal items for Charles Edward Carter, Deacon Carter, including food, hats, tools, and at least one toolbox. Finding of fact number 27. In early April 2024, CJ, my mother, suffered a series of strokes, which left her hospitalized and incapacitated, and her two daughters, myself and my sister, became her guardians and conservators on April 16th of 2024. CJ, my 78-year-old mother, passed away on April 25th of 2024. Finding of fact number 28. On April 16th, 2024, myself met with CEC, Charles Edward Carter, at CJ's home, at my mother's home, to review the status of respondents' interior remodeling project, which was found to be incomplete. CEC Deacon Carter advised myself that my mother's project would be completed within 3 weeks. Spoiler alert, it is still not completed. Finding of fact number 29, myself reported to the Department of Labor and Industry investigator that CEC told her, Deacon Carter told her, that he knew 2 insurance checks had been sent to my mother, CJ, on April 2nd of 2024. And he wanted me to look for them because he had performed additional work on the roof. Finding of fact number 30. On or about April 22nd, 2024, right before my mother passed away, the respondents ceased work on my mother's home. Finding of fact number 31. On September 3rd of 2024, the City of Newport's building official, senior inspector, and electrical inspector visited my mother's home for the purpose of reviewing respondents and their subcontractors' work and found subsection A, building and plumbing permits were required for respondents' work in my mother's kitchen, primary bedroom, the primary bathroom, the guest bedroom, and dining room, living room, and hallway. B, the kitchen area is missing lighting and cabinets, and a vent was not installed to the outside. C, the work in the primary bedroom had not been completed. D, the primary bathroom is in a rough-in stage and has an open plumbing vent. E, no work has been performed in the guest bedroom. F, the dining room and hallway are missing trim and doors. G, the entryway is missing a door and trim. H, the stairs are not covered or completed and are in a rough-in stage. I, no ice and waterfalls have been provided to the City of Newport for the roof replacement, and no final inspection has been requested. J, no electrical permits were obtained for the extensive electrical work performed. K, at least 16 electrical violations of the National Electrical Code were observed. 32. To date, respondents' remodeling project at CJ, my mother's home, remains incomplete and non-code compliant. Neither PDC, Evangelist Pam Carter, nor CEC, Deacon Carter, have returned any portion of the $96,747.11 that CJ, my mother, paid to them. PDC, Evangelist Pam Carter, and CEC, Charles Edward Carter, response to the Department of Labor and Industry request for information included documentation that shows that $26,200 of CJ's, my mother's loan proceeds from the refinancing of her home were used to pay off the vehicle lease agreement for PDC's, the Evangelist Pam Carter's sibling, Valerie Land. which was a 2021 Mazda, which was later transferred to my mother. The conclusions of law, Section 3, respondents committed violations of applicable law, and the appropriate Minnesota statutes are cited. Number 2, respondents acted or held themselves out as residential building contractors, residential remodeler, or residential roofer in the state of Minnesota without the required licensure or registration. Conclusion law number 3, respondents performed or offered to perform electrical work in the state of Minnesota without the required electrical contractor and personal electrician licenses or registration. Conclusion of law number 4, respondents performed or offered to perform plumbing work in the state of Minnesota without the required plumbing contractor and personal plumbing licenses or registration. Conclusion of law number 5, respondents performed electrical work without filing an electrical permit at or before commencing work. Conclusion of law number 6, respondents performed the remodeling of CJ, my mother's home, without first filing required building and plumbing permits. Conclusion of law number 7, respondents failed to reasonably supervise employees, agents, subcontractors, or salespersons, or has performed negligently or in breach of contract, so to cause injury or harm to the public. Conclusion of law number 8, respondents engaged in fraudulent, deceptive, or dishonest practices and demonstrated incompetence, untrustworthiness, or financial irresponsibility by bullet point failing to hire licensed individuals and entities to perform electrical and plumbing work at CJ, my mother's home. Next bullet point, under conclusion of law number 8, making false representations to CJ, my mother's insurance company. Next bullet point, misappropriating payments received from CJ, my mother. Next bullet point, seeking additional payments for incomplete work. And next bullet point, hiring and issuing payment to Boone and Ibarra, who do not hold contractor registrations. And for each of those conclusions of law, there are the appropriate Minnesota statutes cited. For brevity, I have omitted those, but they are in the administrative order. The court did assess a $15,000 fine. It's my understanding that they are currently appealing this order. And for those who don't know, the fine does not go to our family. It's my understanding that the fine that the Department of Labor and Industry goes into their OSHA fund. So to date, we are on the hook for this $80,000 mortgage that was put into the Evangelist personal bank account.